it's Lisa. Welcome back to my channel. Let me get my mic. Hold on just a second. Where did my mic go? Hi guys. Welcome back to my channel. If you're a first-time viewer, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for checking out the channel. I have a very somewhat chatty video on where I'm at. It's the end of June, actually beginning of July almost, and this is the chaos that came from all the pins that I had inked for the month of July. I mean the month of June. Sorry about that. And so we're going to do the July currently inked, but I just wanted to let you know how things went with certain pins in the month of June. And if you're new to the channel, I talk about fountain pens, stationery supplies, books, and anything else that's going on in my life that I feel like sharing on YouTube at this moment. So June's currently inked. I had the Pilot Firmo, which is this pen right here. Looks like this. It is a pen that is a, let's see here. It is a capless pen, so it doesn't have any ability to have a piston in it or whatever. But this Firmo had in it Diamine Red Dragon. Absolutely loved the combination for this pen. Worked out quite nicely. Next off, I had in my pens, and I'm going to just put my pens together because I've cleaned them, of course. I had my Decimo, which was my other, I'm sorry, it's not a Decimo. This is a Pilot Vanishing Point. This pen had in it Pelican Edelstein Topaz. Great pairing, great combination. This is an extra fine nib. So the writing on this ink is like this color blue was just fantastic. Really enjoyed the writing experience. I wrote it dry and then I re-inked it, and then at the end of the month I just kind of dumped whatever I had left out in the sink because I had very little. The Pilot Custom 74 I have right here. This pen, fantastic. Oops, that's the Ishmi nib. Gotta remember what nibs go with what. This one and these pens have these Pilot Con 70 converters. They're a little bit hard to dry out, but I did let this sit out. This pen had in it Diamine Blue Edition Red Ember, and that's the Custom 74. That's a fine. That one had this Diamine, excuse me, this Diamine Red Ember ink. Loved it. Great combination. Next off, I had in my Pilot, this is the Piera in what I call blue-gray slate or whatever. This had in it Diamine Celadon Cat. Absolutely loved it. Great combination of pen and ink. Beautiful flow. Celadon Cat is, where's it at? Right here. I love this color. I've got a small 30 milliliter bottle of this ink, and I'm sorry if my nails looks a little cruddy. I've got Pilot or Platinum ink in my nail. But great combination on the Pierre Rose in that Diamine ink color. Next off, I had my Ishmi. This is the fountain pen that I won at the DC Pen Show. Absolutely love this. I think this is a 21 karat gold nib or 18 karat gold nib pen. This is in a medium. I had Wearing Gold Jane Eyre in that in this pen, and I love the texture of this pen. Didn't write with the pen a lot last year once I got it, because I got it towards the end of the year in August when the DC Pen Show happened. And by the way, the DC Pen Show, which is the largest in the country, is happening August 2nd through the 4th, I do believe. It's out in Virginia. And this is Wearing Gold Jane Eyre. I love this color. I'm actually thinking about buying a bottle of that or buying extra samples of it because I really do love that color. Then I had in my Pilot Custom 74 piston filler, Oops, looks like I've got a little bit of remnants on the side there. This one has the ability for the nib nut to come out. Where's my cap? Here it is. In this one, I had Califilio Bordeaux in it, and I really do. I'm going to have an ink drop in there, stock. I really did like that combination. I felt like it was a great writing experience. Actually, every ink wrote really well this month except for one ink in particular. And if you caught my middle of the month recap, I talk about that one ink, but I will share with it when I get to the pen that had it in there. So that is the Pilot Custom 74 Piston Filler. And then, and again, I had in that one the Califilio Bordeaux. The Pilot Custom FA, talking about the pen that and the ink that did not work well. I already put away the Pilot Custom FA. That's a Falcon nib. I have Wearing Gold Psychic Poly. Psychic Poly was a problematic ink, and I was talking about, these are some of the inks that I used for the month, and I'm going to show you Psychic Poly. The ink color, to me, is an intriguing ink color, and while I was cleaning out my ink pens, this is Psychic Poly, and it has this weird kind of funky sheen to it, but that's the color that's supposed to come out of the pen. I found maybe on a cream colored paper it will work better. Actually, it should work well on a white color paper, but what I think would work better is I found these pens. I had to clean them out, but I found my these Pilot, I forgot what these are called. Simone uses these a lot, and she Franken pins some of her other ones. I've got the 2.4 and I've got the 1.5, and I do think that the Psychic Poly pen would work really well if I used them in these Pilot, I forgot the name of these pens. I'll put it up on the screen up above. But I do find that I have these old kind of, I rinsed out and just cleaned out. This had nothing but platinum carbon black in it. So I'm cleaning these out as well, so they're going to dry. And I'm going to actually try Psychic Poly in one of these pens to see if it's a better, that's the pen that it needs to be in, that kind of nib size, that kind of girthiness that I don't normally typically, it wouldn't be an everyday writer for sure. Wearing Gold ink is, I'm finding, very dry as well, so that's a little bit, it's going to be an interesting experiment. So I'm going to pull these to the side and deal with these last but not least. So that was my one problematic pen and ink combination. I actually ended up putting Psychic Poly in a Pilot Kakuno, which I have since cleaned out and put away in my other case. And then next up, I had in a Pilot Kakuno another one, and I ran this one dry. I had the Califilio Yolamula ink. I think I butchered that one, but I had that ink in it. And then the last two, oh, here's the Kakuno. So I didn't put this one away. Took that back. They use a Pilot Con 70 converter. Let me just make sure this is completely drained, because these things have a way of holding on to ink and water like, oh, Pilot, I wish you would really get a new converter system. So this is the Pilot Kakuno. I'm going to have to let this sit out and dry a little bit longer for these because they're not quite dried out. So that was the Pilot Kakuno. I had the Psychic Poly in that. And then the last two in my Pilot Custom 823, which is this one, in amber. This one was fantastic. I had in it Royer and Klinger Alt Gogun is what I had in that pen. And so this one is ready to be put away as well. And lastly, I had in my Pilot Justice, I had Jacques Herbin Alana Vertitide. Now, I was kind of surprised that that actually paired well with this nib ink, because sometimes Pilot pens and shimmer inks don't do well. But in this Justice, or juice this pen, it worked really quite well, and I absolutely love this pen. So those are all the ink pens that I did in the month of June, and now you get to see my desk or my kitchen table bare. But now we're going to do July. July is currently inked, and because I experimented last month with nothing but my Pilot ink pens, the month of July is going to be nothing but my Sailors. So hold on just a second. Okay. So the pens are back in their cases except for the ones that I left out. And now we're dealing with all of these except for this. This is a different kind of pen. So the month of July, I will be writing with every one of my various Sailor fountain pens. So let's just pull all of those out. The one thing about running a series of fountain pens, or I should say a certain brand of fountain pens, A, you get to see what your collection totally looks like. 2, you get to really play with them again to see how they'll behave with certain kinds of inks. And you've got, you know, a full month in theory to get through them, and hopefully you don't have as many pens inked. So in this case, I have 6 Sailor fountain pens in total. This is going to be great because I should be able to put my hands on them quite frequently. And I just now need to pick 6 inks that I already have, because I'm playing with stuff that I already have versus this month trying to get anything new. Although I do have a couple of inks samples that I ordered, just 2, not a lot. But I am going to stick with my theme of use what I got. That's what I'm trying to do. So I got this on a weird little angle here. I hope you guys don't mind the tilt. I'm going to try to adjust this really quickly. Sorry about that. My camera tripod for my phone is acting really janky. So I've got colors here. I'm going to try to match some colors that I want to match with the pens. First off, I'll just go ahead and do this one. This is my Sailor Pro Gear. I think this is the first Pro Gear that I got in a regular size, and I have this with the Architect nib. And I am going to put into this pen. Oh, which pen? Which ink? Let's see here. I have Pilot Candlelight, which I actually really do like, but I also am really drawn to this Shiki-Oriori Moonlight as well. I call that pen, this pen, my Star Trek pen, because the body has in it, I don't know if the camera's going to do a good job of picking it up, but it has a little bit of like gold sparkle fleck through it. And I absolutely adore this pen. I know it's going to be kind of a juicy writer. Let's see here. Let's pull out this color too. This is peanut brittle. Good God, Lisa. Peanut brittle from, but I want it to be kind of summery, so I think I'm going to go ahead and leave peanut brittle aside, and the Shiki-Oriori, which is actually a pretty dry ink, and I'm going to ink this one up with this Diamine Red Edition Candlelight, which I absolutely love that color. It's a perfect yellow, so I'll pair that one. This one is another Sailor Pro Gear Slim. I need a purple ink for this. This one I got from Yoseka, and this one they did it in a series a couple of years ago now, and I think mine is winter actually, but I think what I'm going to use for this one is Nkebara Pale Violet. I think that will be a good match. Alright, so we've got that one in a pale violet. The Yoseka second year special offer their name. This is the Going Home pen from Yoseka. This is a Sailor Pro Gear. So this one is the fuller size, like the Star Trek pen that I have. And let's see, what color is this? I feel like I've been using jade a lot. So I'm going to use, I'm going to have to set this aside because I want to put a green ink, I think, into that one. This is another Pro Gear that I've got from Diamine, I think I bought this one from Goulet. And it's another Pro Gear full-size pen. It needs a blue ink since it's a blue ink, blue colored pen, and I am going to kind of coordinate match my inks. Oh, Herbin Blue Austral, yes. Perfect color for summer. That's going to be fun. And then my very first Sailor that I got off of Amazon, I was so happy with myself. This is a Pro Gear Slim. And let's see here. I've got these 3 ink colors. I need a green that I don't have. Oh, this should be really fun. I'm going to use that color, but not for that pen. I'm going to, I need to figure out another color here. I'm going to put a reddish color ink in this one, so, oh, I don't want to do a glitter ink though. I'm going to use another kind of purplish shade, I think. Oh, here we go. This will work. I am going to write in the Caran Divine Pink for this pen. I'm going to match those two together. So there's that one. And this one is the first Yoseka pen that they did when they started doing the pens for their name, Yoseka. And this is the slim size for this. I'm going to use Robert Oster Silver Fire and Ice for this pen. I think that this would be kind of a killer combination. So let's get these inked up, and oh, I still got to do a green. That's right. Hold on just a second. So I'm going to set these pens to the side with their respective pens, and I just have to match the one with the green ink, and I'm hoping that I have a different green ink. Oops, this gets Fire and Ice. That gets the blue. This gets the pink. Sorry, I had to kind of put these in the side so I have them in order. I've got a case of bottled ink over here that I may need to come back into my little bin here. Uh-oh. My case has an issue, so I'm going to put this to the side and open it this way so that it comes out. Hopefully, there we go. One of the hinges came loose off of this case. I've got green ink in here somewhere, I'm sure, because I've got so much ink. Let's see here. Otherwise, it's going to get a different kind of ink that I didn't think it was going to get. Oh, I think I'm going to use Sailor 264. It's kind of tealy in color, but I think that's the best that I've got. Oh. And I don't think I've got any. Oh, here we go. I found one that's even better. We're going to use Gokoro from Sailor. So that's what's going to go into that ink for the month of July. In that pen, I'm sorry. In that pen for the month of July. So let us ink up these and get to writing. And since I've got this one right in front of me, we'll just go ahead and I'm going to put them up like here. You see this right here. Pull these to the side. So you can kind of see what the lineup's going to be. Yeah, I think this is a good lineup. I don't know if any of you are going to celebrate for the 4th of July, but I hope everyone has a safe holiday ahead. Since this is going to come out, I'm filming this before the 4th, since I kind of want to get this in for the start of the month. So hopefully this will suck up some ink here. It is summer, but man, the year seems to be just flying by. I don't know about any of you, but I'm like, I remember at the beginning of the year, everybody was really excited talking about their planners and what they're doing. Now everybody's doing, I cannot get this ink to go into this pen. This is very interesting. Hold on just a second. I do have it through its breathing hole, so just trying to figure out what's it going to take. There we go. Didn't really give me a lot. And I hope that I don't have any intense air bubbles. Woo, okay, we've got ink all in the barrel of this pen. So it's luckily I've got a nice paper towel to the side. But man, that was messy. Yeah, so the month of June was also a really good reading month for me as well. I got through, I think they said 9 books, and I couldn't believe I got through 9 books. It didn't seem like I did, but I ended up reading things that I didn't think I was going to read. Like, I had The Art of War sitting on my bookshelf probably for a couple of decades. I finally got through The Art of War. Interesting book. People recommend that for college students, especially in the world of business, I guess, to help them understand strategy versus tactic. Interesting that they would pick a military book for that, but interesting read. I don't really rate that, but I will say it was an interesting read. So this is the Sailor Pro Gear, and this one is in a medium nib. I found that this is my favorite nib from Sailor. And this green ink doesn't really scream summer, but it doesn't, well, it doesn't really scream summer to me, but it doesn't have to. This is Gokoro. And I will zoom in now since we're doing the writing samples for that for the month. And it is a nice dark greenish ink. Really do like it. So there's one pen for the month. Next up in the lineup, I have Candlelight, which is a Inkvent calendar ink that they did in red edition. That is going into this wonderful Sailor pen. Also a Pro Gear. And I think I better get my little holder here out so it doesn't go flying. I don't know what I did with my one holder. I think it's in my other box that I don't have handy here. And it's down all the way. So the Art of War, as I was saying, interesting book. I'm glad I read it because it's one of those things I hate having books on my bookshelf that I don't read. So I'm glad I've read it. I ticked it off the box. I just don't think it's going to be a keeper. I think I'm going to end up sticking it in the free library. It's one of those kind of pins for me. And let me just wipe off all of that excess. And I didn't really get a lot of, this is not working for me. People, this is not working for me. I don't like how little ink is kind of coming into my Sailors with the typical feed method, but I will go ahead and ink them off to the side with my syringe because I'm not getting really good fills with the traditional piston action, as it were. So this has, ooh, love the yellow. Oh, yes. Okay. This is how the other Psychic Poly should have probably been in a nib size like this for sure. So this is a Sailor Pro Gear. And this is, oops, I was going to say Yoseka, and it's not. This is a no, this is Architect Grind. And this is in Diamine Red Edition. And this is Candlelight. This is probably one of the best yellows ever because it's actually legible. And I love it. I need another towel because I'm getting ink everywhere on my hands. Don't mind inky fingers, but I got ink in a way that I don't want ink existing. Next up in the lineup is Pale nkebara Pale Violet. And I need to recap the yellow that I have here and push it to the side. Just go ahead and stick that in the ink vial holder so it has in its home. We're going to go ahead in this one. I put these lids on tight. Next up that I read, that was non-fiction, is I read Menopause Reset by Dr. Mindy Peltz. Any woman who's going through the change, you need to read that book. Any woman who's getting ready to go through that change, you need to read that book. Just FYI, it will save you a lot of angst in what you go through. Wish I would have discovered it years ago, but I discovered it now and I can still benefit from it. So, really good book. Highly recommend. Highly recommend. So, if you're one of those women who is perimenopausal or going through menopause, definitely. I know I'm probably dating myself with that information, and it might be too much information for any of the gentlemen, but hey, you should also read it too, because if you've got a woman in your life, she's going to have to go through this process. So it's good all the way around. It's good for everybody to know. Really good book. Really enjoyed it. Really did think it was a solid read. Game changer, actually, for me. It has helped me manage some of my symptoms, and the main one that every woman will go through is probably weight gain. And for that, I am happy to say I'm 20 pounds lighter from reading her book and following her methodology of things. So if you're struggling with those kind of issues, yeah, check her out. She's good. I promise I'm not steering you wrong on that one. All right, so this is Nkebara with the Sailor Pro Gear Slim. And there is a name for this pen, and I just can't remember it for the life of me. Again, some of these ink nibs run kind of dry. I think this is a medium too, but it doesn't seem like it. It's not as, this is feeling much drier as a writer than, this is a slim. And this is a medium. And we've got Nkebara. I think the match is perfect though. Pale Violet. Yeah. Be likey. Then I read The Book Stop. The Book Stop was A Day of the Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon. Oh my God, that book was epic. It was so good. At one point, it took a little bit, I will say it did take a little bit for me to get into that book. But once I was in it, I was in it. If anybody was a Game of Thrones watcher, that's how Samantha Shannon's books kind of read to me, without some of the, what I've heard, the convolution that you get with the writer of, or the creator of Game of Thrones. She's a little bit more clear cut, and she's very good at weaving her world creation and world building in with the story. And in this book, it's told through, it's what, a 8-person POV, but she does a really good job of getting the story not to be too convoluted or overlapping or confusing. So check it out. You don't have to read it in order. Like, you could read that book and then read Priory of the Orange Tree, or you could read Priory of the Orange Tree and then read that book. But just know that they're both standalones, but they're both excellent, and there probably will be more to come. And it's worthwhile listening to that book on Audible if you have that ability to do so. Okay, next up, I think this is my third Pro Gear regular size fountain pen, and this one we are using the Jacques Herbin Bleu Australs. I love this ink color. It's just such a nice summery blue color, very turquoisey, nice and juicy. Has great shading, if I remember correctly, in this pen. I mean this ink. But Herbin or Jacques Herbin inks, depending on which label he's going under, all of his inks really do have usually pretty good shading. I'm blowing air back into this, and then I'm going to suck it back out and get what I get. In this ink sample, I think I ordered a bottle of this ink color because I liked it so much. And I usually put it in my my Lamy 2000 pen is what I usually put this in. Come on, give me some ink. Okay, there's so little in here, but I do have enough to write with for this purpose of this video. So multiple points of view. The pace gets to be pretty quick in the story as it kind of builds towards the end of the book. It might bring tears to some people's eyes as far as the characters, but the characters are really lovable. You'll hate the villains like you're supposed to hate the villains and the bad people. It's interesting, the distinction between the worms and the dragons. So I'm not going to spoil that too much. I'll let you kind of get into that, but I really did enjoy that book. I got through it this month. I didn't think, in the month of June, I didn't think I was going to, because it was such, that book was 866 pages. It's like, good Lord. But there was a lot to be said and done in that book. So that book was really, really a good one. Okay, this is a Sailor Pro Gear, and this one is in a medium, and this is J. Herbin. Let's see how he spelled. Did he do it the French way? Yes, he did. This is EU and Austral. That's going to be a nice, juicy. This is a nice, juicy writing pen. So there's that one. And let's see here. That goes with that ink. I think I need to pull my inks back out because I've got to re-ink them. Yeah. Next up, my first Sailor Pro Gear Slim. And this one, I am really shooting myself for putting my ink syringe away because I really don't like the fact that I can't get enough ink up into these fillers. We have Caran Pink Divine. And I think this ink is, if I remember, oh, there we go. Not as difficult, but I am really trying to go through these ink samples because I have so many of them that I feel like I've got ink for the rest of my life, and that there's still inks that I would like to try, and samples are definitely a way for me to go with that, just because there's so much ink out there in the world, which is the joy of fountain pens. There are names for each one of these pens, and I will put them in the description below after I'm done with this, because right now I think it's sitting in my fountain pen companion database, and I'm going to have to pull them out. But this one is definitely one that conveyed winter for what the year of release for this one is. So this is another Pilot Pro Gear Slim, and this one is in a medium fine, and this one has Caran dash pink glitzy. I don't think I'm gonna get any of oh, I'm sorry, it's Divine Pink. I said pink glitzy because that's the other one I put out. Divine Pink. Good. Yeah, I pulled that out because I didn't want shimmer in my inks and my nib. That's it. So that's this one. Book number 4, I think I'm on with you guys right now, if I remember correctly. I read Happy Place by Emily Henry. Did not like it. Didn't love it. No, I shouldn't say I didn't like it. I thought it was just okay. Had a problem with it. It was a fun, light read, but I have problems with the miscommunication trope. So that one was just meh for me. I mean, she did deal with some other issues like, you know, trying to maintain friendships post-college when your life kind of gets away from you, and, you know, people's lives kind of start to evolve with family, kids, marriage, that kind of stuff. So it's about 3 college roommates that they used to get together in college at one of the college's roommates' parents' house in Maine around Lobster Fest weekend that they had. And, you know, things have changed, and people are kind of, as they've been adulting and growing up, their relationships have happened. People's statuses in relationships are changing, and one couple in particular's not really together, and they've been called kind of, or considered the it couple, I would say. So it's kind of, they didn't want to shock people and ruin the weekend by telling them that they're not together, so they end up playing along like they're together. So, you know, it's just communication going amok, and really it all could have been avoided way before the weekend. But be that as the may, that's what the book was about, which is why I kind of had a problem with it, because that kind of miscommunication trope is just unnecessary. So that was that book. I'm trying to think of what else I've read. It's eluding me right now, and my reading list is on the camera that I'm filming. Last Fountain Pen is another. Is this the 3rd Yoseka pen? No, this is the 1st Yoseka pen. This is the first one that they did when they started collaborating with Sailor. I got this one in just the regular size Slim, the Pro Gear Slim. I got it in the Pro Gear Slim and not the Pro Gear. This was my first, I think this was my second, at this point, my second fountain pen, maybe my 3rd Sailor. So I'm just still trying to figure out in my fountain pen career what nib unit I liked, and I think this is when I really figured out I liked the medium nib the most, as far as just regular nibs without them custom ground. And in this one, we are putting in I'm going to go ahead and try a shimmer ink. This is Robert Oster. What did I say this was? Sorry guys, I'm having a brain fart. Robert Oster Silver Fire and Ice. It's on the lid cap, out of all things. And I got this not that long ago, but I thought it would be a cool ink to try. And I'm still not getting any ink in my pen. There we go. All right. So, with that being said, Emily Henry, I don't know. I think some people have said certain books of hers are better than others. If anyone has read a Emily Henry book that does not have a miscommunication trope in it, because that one drives me nuts, let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what books you're reading, as well as, do you guys use your fountain pens to do book reviews or book notes, or do you guys have a book journal at all? I'd be kind of curious to know that as well. What do you guys read? What do you guys use your fountain pens to write with? What do you, I know everybody says planning, and you know that's kind of the common one, but what other uses do you use your pens to blow through your I said this was a pilot and that's a sailor. Blow through your fountain pen inks. And this, I'm going to just say sailor because I forgot to do that first. I'm distracted because I'm trying to talk about books and write at the same time. Oh, I like this ink color. This one is Robert Oster, or Oster, depending on how you want to say it. Trying to make sure I'm in frame. Silver, fire, and ice. Beautiful writer. I'm really liking it. So those are the 6 fountain pens. I'm loving the number. It's just, it's nice to have a reduction. Boy, what am I going to do when I get down to the pens that I only have like one of? That'll be a really quick, currently inked month. That is that for the currently inked for the month of July. Hold on, okay, guys. I have to finish up my book wrap up because I don't want to leave you guys hanging. Because I did say I read quite a few books here. So I did The Art of War. I did Happy Place. I did The Menopause Reset. I did The Day of the Fallen Knight. And the last book that I will say that I finished reading was Bloodmaker by Tracy Deonn. That's book 2 out of her Legendborn series or cycle. That book just, it picked up where the first book left off and it took off. I loved that series. It's a YA fantasy about a teenager who gets into, who's really smart. She's 16 years old and she's at the University of North Carolina along with her best friend, who I think are kind of exceptional students that they got into the university early. And she finds out that she has the ability to do magic. And also she's a descendant of King Arthur. So, you know, there's that going on in it. And it was just, that book was so good. I had a hard time putting that book down. I can't wait until the next one. And I'll tell you, I'm already disappointed by the release date because I have to wait until March of 2025 before I get book number 3. But oh my God, it's so good. So if you want to basically have a really good winter into spring kind of start, you might want to start her series kind of late, but that book was so good. And I started early for the month of July 2 different books. I started Nindya Okorafor book 2 out of her series, the Desert Magician series. I started her book Like Thunder. I'm reading that one right now, even though it's not quite July. I'm starting a little early when I'm doing the filming of this. And then A Frozen River by Rachel Lahone. Oh my God, that book it's fantastic. It's going to be a 5-star, I can tell already. Her writing style is so on point. Her main character is an older woman who's a midwife who gets called to examine a body that's found in the river that's in this township that they live in Massachusetts. And I'm not going to spoil the rest of it. Read the book. It is really, really good. Even though I'm not even done with the book, I'm probably about a third way through the book at this point. It's good. It's one of those books that I can't wait to find time in my day to read. So it's one of those kind of books. And the Nindya Okorafor book picks up with the from the first one with the story of another person that discovers that they can like call the elements to them, and was basically designated to go with this elder woman to explore their gifts and develop them further. So it continues that tale, but the story is told from mostly a one point of view perspective, and I'm very early on into the book, so I can't really talk about it yet, but it's also looking to be quite promising as well as books. And I will do my July TBR picks because Those were 2 additional picks because I kind of finished all the June reads early enough that I had room, a couple of days left in June to start the July reads, but I actually will be doing a July TBR pick, show you what I've got for my July TBR. So that concludes this very lengthy and somewhat verbose video. Thank you so much for staying tuned if you made it to the end. I really do appreciate it. If anybody's exploring groups of their fountain pens because they have more than 1 or 2 of them, let me know what you're doing and what inks that you liked out of this one. Did you find one of them to be one of your favorites? Did you find one of my pens to be one of your favorites? Like I said, all of these are Pilot Pro gears, either slim or regular size. I will put the actual, like what they call the actual pen body name for the release of it down below in the descriptions. But thank you so much for sticking to the end and taking the time out of your day. Really appreciate it. And until next time, I'll talk to you later. Bye.